If you're ready to increase the number of qualified patients coming into your practice while retaining more of your existing ones, then this presentation may just be the most important training you ever watch. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to hear about a new system called the Predictable Patients Marketing System, used by the best of the best cosmetic practices all across the nation that consistently doubles, triples, even quadruples the number of prospects calling their offices to schedule new consultations. Now, by the end of this short presentation, you'll understand how to put the same system to work for your practice so it stretches your marketing dollars and makes your phone ring with high quality patient prospects, getting you more consults, guaranteed. This new system will make your phone ring fast with patient prospects ready to speak with you regardless of what city you practice in, for all the procedures your office offers, and regardless of whether you're an established, well-known practice or a new business just getting your practice off the ground. Look, when you begin advertising online to attract new patients, it's no secret that making sure all the parts of your campaign are set up correctly so you don't lose money and you make a positive return on your advertising dollars. I'm sure you already know that getting more patient prospects to schedule a consult with you is based largely on the ability of your campaign to capture attention, create interest, stir up desire, and convince them to call you. The wrong plan and approach for advertising online can not only prevent you from getting new patients, it can actually cause your practice to lose lots of money. In fact, listen to what marketing optimization powerhouse Kissmetrics, one of the biggest marketing resources on the internet, said about this. They said, a poorly managed campaign can cost more than it brings in, but a well-managed campaign can keep your store or company in business. It all comes down to how much you know about advertising and how smartly you can manage your campaigns. Unfortunately, a poor approach to advertising happens way more often than you would believe, especially for practices who've never done or only dabbled in Google advertising. Fact is, it only takes a few minutes looking at ads on Google to see dozens of examples of practices who are taking the traditional approach of writing ads and sending people to their main website and are spending boatloads of money on ads that simply won't ever attract new patients. Obviously, this is the last thing you want to have happen. It's really sad to see practices spending more money than necessary and losing potential patients because they really don't know what they're doing when it comes to advertising online. Fortunately, there's a little known, extremely effective system that can get more prospects contacting you for a consult while lowering the amount of money you spend to acquire that consult. This system I'm referring to is called the Predictable Patient Marketing System. You can implement this system in just 6 simple steps. And it's nothing like the traditional setup that many practices advertising online are told to use. In fact, here's what makes it so different from how you're probably advertising now, and exactly how it works to quickly get you new patient prospects. As you can see, most smart cosmetic practices generate traffic to a dedicated page on their main website. Now, this usually captures about 3 to 5% of the people who respond well to sales pitches, and they ultimately become consults. We call these ready, willing, and able prospects. And so they get their phone calls coming in from this 3 to 5%, set up consults with a couple of those, and they call it a day. That's it. This is what most cosmetic practices will do day in and day out. But the really smart cosmetic practices don't stop there, as you can see on the right. They don't give up on the other 95% of those that don't respond to the initial sales pitch. Instead, they use marketing technology, which allows them to take a different, more subtle yet persuasive approach. Now, this marketing technology is what we use, and we call these interest regenerators. Interest regenerators are specific ads that follow your prospects around the web and they bring them back to your website. This is the secret weapon that brings more of the 95% of prospects you might have lost back into your marketing funnel. And while your competitors are scratching their heads wondering how you're doing this while they're struggling to get new patients, you're going to become the go-to practice in your area for all the services you offer. I'll tell you more about this secret weapon in just a minute. Let's begin by diving into the 6-step process that makes up the predictable patient marketing system. Your first step is what we call consult compartmentalization. While you may have many practice areas, the key to making this work is to compartmentalize each area and focus on dominating one area at a time. Imagine pumping all of your advertising budget into just one key area of your practice, like liposuction. If you do what we're teaching you, then you'll quickly become the go-to liposuction expert in your area. And while this system will be working for you bringing in new consults, you'll also be getting referrals from all the new patients that end up working with you. Then, once you've taken the lion's share of the liposuction market, you can then begin to replicate this system for tummy tucks, then breast augmentations, then full mommy makeovers, so on and so forth until you're the preeminent clinic for all of your practice areas. So after deciding on which area of your practice you'll focus on dominating first, you'll now want to get in front of that audience that is ready to take action and call you. So step 2 is create direct response ads. Now we've tested thousands of variations of ads, marketing copy, and lead generation pages over the past few years, and it's quite clear that 95% of people simply don't respond to sales pitches. Everyone already instinctively knows this. Most people simply don't want to be sold to, right? So what do? You need to first make sure you're making money from the 5% of people that do respond to sales pitches. Then nurture the other 95% people with an effective series of education-based content that is value-packed and non-salesy. I'm going to show you a secret on how to leverage technology, those interest regenerators, to do this in just a minute. First, let's make sure you know how to get the 5% of prospect patients who are actually ready for a consult to raise their hands. Google advertising is a good place to start. Now, most cosmetic practices think Google advertising is too expensive. Do you know why they think this? Because they don't know what you're about to find out. So please pay close attention here. Have a look at these 2 ads. Now, I blocked out the web addresses and other specific company information, but can you spot what's wrong here when comparing the 2? The first ad is what most practices do, and quite frankly, they're throwing buckets of money away advertising like this. This is an ad that showed up when I searched Google for liposuction in San Diego. Now, their office is in Mission Viejo, not San Diego. Granted, there might be a few people who drive to an entirely different city to get this procedure, but this practice should be focusing on spending their ad budget on targeting local patients. Also, they're touting liposuction in the headline, yet look at the body of the ad. They mention award-winning surgeons in the breast augmentation field. Wait, what? This is confusing. The prospect is looking for liposuction. Why even mention breast augmentation here? And this ad is also all about them. It doesn't highlight any benefit to the prospective patient. From dentists to med spas to cosmetic surgeons, I've seen issues like this and even worse in all different types of practices. Now, compare that to the second ad. Firstly, it states target and remove problem area fat. They immediately address the prospect searching for liposuction. Second, it predisposes them to the benefits of choosing them. Minimal downtime, stay awake procedure, free consultations. When someone clicks on this ad, they're going to know what to do next. Call for a free consultation. This alone can lower the cost per click and overall cost per lead. Third, look at the size of the ad. It takes up a lot more screen real estate, and that's a great thing. They've made good use of advanced ad elements to provide much more information to the searcher. Now here's a pro tip for you guys. While most are paying for position 1, a better placement for your ad is actually position number 3. With good ad copy, you can generate the same number of clicks as position 1, but at less cost per click. That's a key takeaway. You can pay much less for a click if you have the right ad copy that generates a high click-through rate. Okay, let's go into step 3. Step 3 is to compel your prospect to schedule an appointment with you using a consult capture page. Now, earlier I mentioned cosmetic practices think Google advertising is just too expensive. Another reason for this is because they're sending their online traffic to their main website. This is a huge mistake. Think about this for a moment. If somebody is searching for liposuction on Google, they don't really care about breast augmentation or facelifts or Botox in that moment. They care only about liposuction. Putting all this other information in front of them distracts them from their thought of, I need to find a doctor to do liposuction now. And you increase your risk of that prospect leaving your main website because of all the untargeted, unspecified, distracting information. On the other hand, if you send them to a page that's specific to liposuction and all the information and imagery on that page focuses on that, you stand a higher chance at keeping them in your marketing funnel because they're getting the exact info they're searching for. So I mentioned a little while ago that we've tested thousands of different page variations to find what works and what doesn't. We've tested everything from different page layouts, colors, headlines, before and after pictures, pretty much everything you can imagine testing. And finally, after years of painstakingly complex work and analysis, we found the page styles that generate the highest quality patient prospects, the type of prospects that turn into consults fast. We've taken all the winning elements of each of these high converting pages and formulated the perfect consult capture pages. These consult capture pages can easily double, even triple the amount of patient prospects that turn into consults over the standard website that every other cosmetic practice is sending their traffic to. Here's what the framework of a consult capture page looks like. Pretty, isn't it? Or maybe not. You might be thinking you need a fancy, super flashy page layout to get people to convert, but honestly, if a simple layout fills our inbox full of prospect inquiries and gets our phone ringing for consultations, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. We've tested this layout across multiple practice areas: breast augmentation, liposuction, tummy tuck, Botox. Every single time we use it, it just works. That's why we've created a number of these consult capture page templates ready to deploy whenever we need to increase patient prospects for our clients. But remember, as good as these pages are, they're still only going to get about 5% of prospects to immediately raise their hand. These will be the prospects who are ready, willing, and able. But we can't forget about the other 95% who visited our page but did not contact us. So step number 4 is to stay in front of non-action takers. So 5% of people who come to your consult capture page will immediately contact you for a consult. Here's how to bring the other 95% who don't take action back into the fold. We're getting into the good stuff now, the secret weapon I mentioned earlier that will separate you from all your competitors so you become the go-to practice in your area for all areas that you practice. The smart cosmetic practices are doing the things we just talked about. They're using targeted Google advertising, high converting ads, and consult capture pages. However, the top 1% of cosmetic practices, the really high earners dominating their area online, they do what you're about to discover now. Think about this. Someone searching online for lipo in Los Angeles or for whatever respective service and city that clicks on your ad, that is clearly someone that needs your services. Someone is seeking you out. They're looking for the services that you can help them with. Now, just because that person doesn't immediately respond to your website doesn't mean that they aren't going to seek out the services of another practice and get their procedure done elsewhere. Luckily, you can use technology to follow up with them even after they've visited your website and left to keep them from going to your competition. Here's how to do it. When a prospect lands on your consult capture page after clicking on your ad, there's a small piece of code you can put on there that anonymously follows your visitor. It's called a custom audience pixel, and you can get this from Facebook. This custom audience pixel will allow you to place targeted ads in front of prospects who came to your website but left without contacting you. These ads will be visible in their Facebook accounts. We all know that practically everyone uses Facebook pretty much on a daily basis. When they're browsing their newsfeed, they'll see your ads. Now, I know what you're thinking. So what, right? These prospects already saw my initial ads and didn't respond. They saw my website but didn't contact me. What's the big deal here? What's the point of putting more ads in front of them? Well, these new ads, they'll introduce your prospects to your interest regenerators. These interest regenerators will persuade them to take a second look at your services. The key to making this work is presenting them with a different interest regenerator every week. The more you do this, the more prospects you'll bring back into the fold. An interest regenerator is a laser-targeted piece of content on your website designed to give them a solution to their pain point. And since you already know what they're looking for because they typed exactly what that is into Google and even visited your website, your interest regenerator will give them golden nuggets of information to help them specifically with their wants or needs. It can be an incredibly accurate solution to the actual problem they're facing, almost as if you're delivering personal information because you know what they're thinking. This positions you as the expert, and they begin to trust you more and more. Now this trust, it's being built, yet you haven't even directly spoken with them. Pretty clever, right? Can you see how this is so much more powerful than the advertising you're doing now? Let's get into step 5. In step 5, you'll want to make sure you have some key design elements on your main website. So your interest regenerators are going to gently nudge people back to your website. Now, you have another opportunity to convince them that you're the practice they want to work with and that they should contact you for a consult. When they're on your website, you need a few elements in place to make it easy for them to contact you. 3 elements to be exact. So here's an example website. The first element is called a hello bar. This is a message bar that runs across the top of your website, and you'll want this to sit on every single page of your site. It makes it super easy for people to contact you and become a prospective patient. The second element is the sidebar. Here, you'll include a very simple, very visible call to action box on the side of your pages. Again, every single page of your website should have this sidebar. The written copy, the message inside the sidebar, should talk about the benefits of working with you and how much better your life will be after becoming your patient. The third element is a pop-up lead box. Anytime someone clicks on the button in the hello bar or the sidebar, this would pop up. You see how easy this makes it for someone to become a lead? Just be careful about asking for too much information here. The more information you ask for here, generally the lower conversion rate you'll get. But don't worry, get the bare minimum and you can always ask for more information later. Let's get into step 6 now. Repeat for other practice areas. Let's do a quick recap. Step 1, you're going to choose one practice area to put most, if not all, of your marketing budget into. Step 2, you're going to get in front of patient prospects using laser-targeted direct response ads. Step 3, you're going to send those patient prospects to a high-converting consult capture page. Step 4, use interest regenerators to stay in front of non-action takers. And step 5, make your website easy for a patient prospect to become a lead. Now, you're dominating one practice area. You're getting tons of leads and business is better than ever before. Simply take this system and replicate it for another area of your practice. That's all there is to step 6. You now have a recipe of acquiring as many patients as you want, as fast as you want. You could replicate this in another geolocation. You could hire more staff under you. Or you can relax and be confident knowing you have a proven 6-step formula to bring in a steady flow of leads month in and month out while your competitors struggle to figure out what you're doing to get so many patients.